Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem amma ba'd. Now we're moving on to an-Nahi. Nahi is a prohibition. So just like how Amr was khas, the same thing I explained before, Nahi is also khas. And Nahi has two elements, the Sigha and the Madda, the Sigha and the root meanings. So an-Nahyu naw'an, there are what? Two types of Nahi. Nahyun an af'al al-hissiyya, kaz-zina, wa-shurb al-khamri, wal-kadhib, wal-dhulm. What are af'al al-hissiyya? Af'al al-hissiyya are actions, a'mal, deeds, actions which are their wujud do not rely upon the Sharia saying their wujud. Are those actions whose wujud do not depend on the Sharia saying they are mawjud. So take out Islam, take out Christianity, take out Judaism and say zina. When a man and a woman who are not married have intercourse, everybody says zina. You find? You drink alcohol. Like everybody will say he's drinking alcohol. The Sharia say, okay, now this is counted as drinking alcohol. Is he drinking alcohol? Like it's his. It's not Shari'i. Lie. I said you're absent. So it's a lie. You're present. That doesn't depend on the Sharia saying anything. Dhulm. And everybody knows what dhulm is. Well, you're supposed to know what dhulm is. Ya Allah, have mercy upon us and forgive us. Fahim? And the second is tasarrufat al-shari'iyya. What does tasarrufat al-shari'iyya mean? That the Sharia says that this is manhi anhu. Meaning the wujud of that item becomes mawquf upon the Sharia saying it's mawjud. Like Sawm. What is Sawm? When does the Sawm count? The Sharia will decide if it counts or not. So you have to do, like, if you stay hungry the whole day, but you had no niyyah, Sharia says not fast. So Sawm is not, so we say this is hunger. Yes, hunger is hissi, but Sawm is shari'i. Are you following? You got it? So af'al hissiyya are things which are like based on wujud, the zahir. And tasawwufat shari'iyya, a shari'i tasarruf is something where the Sharia says it counts. Are you following? Like nikah. The Sharia says this is the nikah. If it has these conditions. A sawm, what's a sawm? Sharia says it's a sawm or not. So a fa'l hissi is an action which is not based upon the Sharia saying it counts for it to count. And a shari'i action is something where the Sharia has to say this is an action in Sharia. So you can either prohibit a hissi action or prohibit a shari'i action. So don't commit zina, don't commit murder, don't kill, don't lie, don't backbite. These are all physical actions whose wujud exists on their own and they're doing nahi and those. And the other shari'i tasarruf, don't do hajj, don't do umrah. What's umrah? Sharia says what? I will tell you what umrah is. Umrah is doing 7 rounds with intention and sa'i. Don't do hajj, this is hajj. Don't perform salah, this is salah. Sharia determines what it is and if it's meant not to do it. That's called nahi and tasarruf sharia. So al-af'al hissiyya are physical actions which you can sense with the wujud, and tasarrufat sharia are those which can be sensed only when the Sharia says these things exist. The existence are dependent upon the Sharia saying they exist. Does everybody understand this? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. So continuing from yesterday, a quick recap. We said you have a nahi. Al-Nahi is the opposite of the Amr. And we said there are two types of Nahi. One is af'al al-shari'iyya and one is af'al al-hissiyya. Af'al al-hissi is something whose wujud does not exist upon the Sharia, it exists upon the hiss. Whether the Sharia or not, if you take somebody's item, that's called, that word for that is sariqa. For him, dhulm, murder, all of these things are af'al hissi, the senses. You can sense and perceive these things. And the other af'al al-shari'iyya, where the Sharia has counted these as actions. So let's say for example, somebody who stayed hungry from morning to evening and there was no such thing as sawm, would that be a sawm? The Sharia said if you do this with a niyyah, this is called a sawm. So the Sharia is the one that validates its wujud. The Sharia doesn't have the Sharia can say what is dhulm. Sharia can say what counts as murder, first degree, second degree, but the fact of killing somebody, these are all hiss. For him. So what we have here is, we say we have the manhi anhu, the thing that is being prohibited. It can be a fa'lun hissi. Or we say qabihun li nafsihi. So if something is fa'l hissi, qatl, murder, rape, theft, all of these things are what? Qabihun li nafsihi. And you have fa'lun shari'i. What do we have? And that's called qabihun, it's a mashru'un bi aslihi, qabihun li ghayrihi. Now, what does this mean? Let me explain to you, use a few examples. So, let's go through the text. حكم نوع الأول, yes? The أفعال الحسية. If a فعل الحسي, let's say for example, Sharia says, don't poke your fingers into your eyes. So, poking your finger into your eye and gouging out your eyeballs, is that فعل حسي or فعل شرعي? فعل حسي, because your finger going into your eyes and pulling out your eyeballs. Yeah, but that's Sharia is telling you not to do it. But the action itself, is that a hissi fail? So we're not talking about who is telling you not to do it. We're talking about the action. Is that a hiss or is that a hiss? If I said, don't cut your ears off. So the Sharia is saying don't do it, but the action of cutting your ears off, what's that going to be? Hissi. If the Sharia says, don't do sawm. What is sawm? So what is sawm? What classifies as sawm? I said, don't do tawaf. What kind of fail is tawaf? Fail shari, because only Sharia, if the Sharia says, no, we don't validate a sawm, tawaf. Sharia says, if you do this, you do niyyah, and you go around 7 times, you do this arkan, I will count as tawaf. So the Sharia is what counts tawaf. If you go around, so you should know, that's the circling, that's the circles. We don't count as tawaf. You following? You get the difference. So what your question is valid is that the nahi comes from the Sharia, but the action, not talking about where the nahi comes from. The nahi comes from the Sharia, but the action is what? Hissi or Shari. Is that clear to everybody? Online as well? Yes? So based on this, فَيَكُونُ عَيْنُهُ قَبِيحًا فَلَا يَكُونُ مَشْرُوعًا أَصْلًا. So we sing the naw'ul awwal, the af'alul hissiyya. The manhi anhu is the actual thing upon which the nahi occurred. Aynu ma warada alayhi nahi. It is the exact thing upon which the nahi occurred. So for example, say, la taqtulu, don't kill. That means that is qatl a fa'al hissi or fa'al shari'i? Hissi. So therefore, what's manhi anhu? Lidatihi. The actual qatl is manhi anhu. Don't kill babies. Don't kill innocent people. What's that? That's fa'al hissi. فَيَكُونُ عَيْنُهُ قَبِيحًا. So we say here the actual عَيْنُهُ, the ayn, mean the actual item itself becomes قَبِيح. فَلَا يَكُونُ مَشْرُوعًا أَصْلًا. It can never be mashru'. You never say qatl is allowed, it's a shari'i action. Theft is a shari'i action. Murder is a shari'i action. Zina is a shari'i action. So if it's a fa'al hissi, there's no way to say, well, it's mashru'. Okay? There's going to be a bit of ambiguity in your mind right now. Let's go on a bit more. وَحُكْمُ النَّوْءُ الثَّانِي is become clear as you go along. The second type is that it's called manhi anhu, is غَيْرُ مَا أُضِيفَ إِلَيْهِ النَّهِي. If you have a fa'al shari'i, then the nahi is not actually based on the fa'al, it's because of something else. Let me give you an example here. فَيَكُونُ هُوَ حَسَنًا بِنَفْسِهِ قَبِيحًا لِغَيْرِهِ. It is going to be hasan بِنَفْسِهِ قَبِيحًا لِغَيْرِهِ. Because the shari'i af'al are all what? Good actions. So if, for example, the Sharia says don't fast on the Eid day, so the hukam is don't fast, isn't it? But the manhi anhu is not linked to the fast. The manhi anhu is because of what? The day of Eid. Are you following? فَيَكُونُ هُوَ حَسَنًا بِنَفْسِهِ قَبِيحًا لِغَيْرِهِ. Let's put examples on, okay? So let's say, for example, a fa'lu shari. What fa'lu shari is makruh? Manhi anhu, as-sawm yawm al-Eid. That's manhi anhu. So we say here, the nahi is not ma udhifa ilayhi nahi, la tasum. It's not actually, the nahi is not, so we're saying la tasum. But the sawm is not actually manhi anhu. What's the manhi anhu? What's the manhi anhu? What's causing? So the nahi is not attributed, or not actually on what the nahi is attributed to, but the nahi is something external. So hasanan li nafsihi, the sawm is hasan bi nafsihi, qabihan lil eidi, because of it being Eid is makruh, or haram. Do you understand? So if fa'al shari'i, af'alu hissi are always haram, and they can never be mashru', they're never part of the sharia. Yes? And a fa'al hiss, a fa'al shari'i is mashru' aslan, but it's qabili غيره. So if you go back now, we see here on this table, we say here, الفعل الشرعي is مشروع بأصله. Sawm is مشروع, Hajj is مشروع, Tawaf is مشروع. For example, to do Umrah on the day of Arafah. So Umrah is what? مشروع بأصله قبيح لغيره. Why is it قبيح? Because of يوم عرفة. فهمت? Got it? ويكون المباشر, the person who carries the action out. The person who carries the action out, he's مرتكبا للحرام. He's doing a haram action. But لغيره لا لنفسه. The irtikab of the haram is based on a secondary aspect, not the asl. Are you following? Let me give you an example here. What's this? This is a Monopoly board, yes? Does anybody play Monopoly? Everybody play Monopoly sometime or the other? Yeah? I assume so. So if I say, now, this is all Shari'i, isn't it? Shari'i meaning, we write the law, we write the rules out in the rule book. We determine the rules. Now if I said to you, whoever rolls a 13 must pay in one go, because you're going to be smarty pants if you roll a double, you can get one after it. Whoever rolls a 13, you can get 13, if you roll a double and I get 13. Whoever rolls a 13 in one throw, okay? That removes your ishkal. So if you roll a 13 in one go, you must pay 500. What would you say this ruling is? And the rule of Monopoly is what? You have two dice or two die, whatever, and each must have is what? Got 6 corners. What kind of ruling is this? What's this rule? Huh? It's a waste of time because you can't do 13. Why you put this rule for? You've made a system saying you have to have 2 dice. You're saying the dice must have 6 corners, 6 edges each. 6 faces. So then you can't have this. So why are you saying whoever rolls 13 must pay £500 or whatever you want to call it? So this, you're one setting up rules, and you set up a rule which we can't even do. This is laghwa, useless. What's the point? Are you funny? Yes. We say, for example, the law says you're only allowed to put 1 hotel on each property, and there's another law saying don't put 2 hotels on one property. It's like, okay, that one is not really that. Leave that one off now. Achha. If I say basketball, if a player scores a 4-pointer, not a 4-point play, not a 4-point play, a 4-pointer meaning you have free throws 1 point, you get 2 for normal and then 3 for behind the arc. If you score 4 points, is there any way in the game where you score, you get 4 points? So then why make this rule? If you're not allowing us, there's no 4 points, then how can you have a law that has 4 points? Are you following? With cricket, you say, well, if a player hits a ball for 8, his team will clear the winner automatically. So you set the rules up. You said if you run between the wicket to wicket, you get 1 run. You run twice, you get 2. If the ball goes to the boundary, if the ball bounces and goes to the boundary, it's 4. If it goes over, you get 6. There's no way to get 8. So why make this nahi for? Or why make this rule of this advantageous winner? Are you following? So in Monopoly, in basketball, in cricket, in all of these situations, having a rule for something you can't even do is laghu. Have you understood this so far? Is everybody following me? Does this make sense? Yes? So based on this, we say, وَعَلَى هَذَا قَالَ أَصْحَابُنَا النَّحْيُ عَنِ التَّصَرُّفَاتِ الشَّرْعِيَّةِ. A person, now when you have a tasarruf shar'i, meaning a fa'al hissi, when you have a fa'al shar'i, what does that mean? The sharia is doing the rules. It's not saying, not about qatl, sariqa, af'al hissiyya, but what? Sharia action. The sharia decides, oh, this is a fast. Sharia decides, let's go back to the thing. So let's say, anything, so af'alu shari'iyya, if it's a shari'i fa'al, for it to be prohibited, what would that mean? It has to be what? What would it have to be? Possible. Let's go another example. Let's say another example. Let's say Allah says in the Quran, for example, the Prophet ﷺ said, it's not permissible for a person, whoever believes in it, okay, in the Quran, don't backbite, don't kill, don't murder, don't steal, don't lie, don't hide the truth, don't betray, don't break your promises, don't deceive people. Yes, these are all possible. If the Quran said, oh, you who believe in the last day, do not fly in the sky. Say, well, this is why not fly? We can't even fly in the sky anyways. Why give us a ruling for something we can't do. Are you following? You understand? So if the Sharia says don't do something, what would that mean? It has to be possible, yes? So what we're saying is if there's a nahi from a fi'l shari'i, that would mean that the fi'l is mashru' aslan. وَيُرَادُ بِذَلِكَ. So أصحابنا, the according to Ahnaf, النحي عن التصرفات الشرعية. If you have a tasarruf, but what kind of fi'l? A fi'l شرعي يقتضي تقريرها. That will necessitate its occurrence, that it can occur, it can happen. Are you following? وَيُرَادُ بِذَلِكَ. And the meaning of it, and what they mean by this is أن التصرف بعد النهي يبقى مشروعا كما كان. That after the nahi, it remains mashru', meaning it remains possible to carry out as it was before. Are you following me? لأنه لم يبقى مشروعا, because the wujud of this action is only based on the Sharia, isn't it? Sawm is only because you only get a sawm because the Sharia said this is a sawm. So the Sharia determines its wujud. So if the Sharia prohibits and at the same time says it's not mashru', what does that mean? The Sharia is telling us to do something that's not possible. Yes? If, for example, now let me give you an example. Let's go on to the masla now. The fasting on the day of Eid. If the Sharia says don't fast on Eid day, what would that have to necessitate? That it's possible to fast on Eid day. So is fasting on Eid day mashru' or not? Yes. So if you fast on Eid day, what do? If you fast on Eid day, would that fast count? Yes or no? If you say yes or no? Why is it yes? Because if it's not possible, then what's the point of saying no fast? Because staying hungry from morning to evening will count as a fast when? The Sharia says. The Sharia says if you stay hungry from morning to evening with this niyyah, we would call that a fast. But if the Sharia says if you fast, if staying hungry from morning to evening with niyyah on all day except Eid day, so therefore that means that you can't do prohibition of fasting on Eid day because it's a count. That's nafyun. Are you following? So we're saying there's two different things. One is nafyun, one is nahyun. Nahyun means it's possible for you to do it, and you say don't do it. That's your imtihan, the taklif. In af'al hissiyya is very clear. Zina, lies, kadhib, deception, murder. And nafi is, it doesn't occur. Fahim. So we say that when the Sharia says do not do an action, that automatically necessitates that the action is going to be what? Mashru'. Therefore, we can do it, but we're not supposed to do it. So therefore, fasting on the day of Eid is what? Is it mamnu'? It's mamnu', which means what? It is possible. And if you do it, it'll be sinful. Are you following? Yes? So if we say it's not mashru', it's not possible to carry out, وَحِينَئِذٍ كَانَ ذَلِكَ نَحْيًا لِلْعَاجِزِ. This is prohibiting somebody who's ajiz. You can't do it, and you're saying, don't do it. It's basically like saying, don't fly in the sky. When you can't even fly in the sky anyways. So if you're saying the fast does not even count, there's no point prohibiting it. وَذَلِكَ مِنَ الشَّارِعِ مُحَالٍ. It is impossible for the Sharia to command us to do something which is impossible. Does this make sense to everybody? What's the hukam of this? وَبِهِ فَارَقَ الْحِسِّيَّةِ. Based on this concept, this is how أفعال حسية and أفعال شرعية differ. لأنه لو كان عينها قبيحا لا يؤدي ذلك إلى نحي العاجز. If the ayn in أفعال حسية was منهي عنه, the ayn, not the غير. So أفعال حسية was منهي عنه, the actual ayn itself. And what's منهي عنه in the أفعال الشرعية? The غير. فهم? So in أفعال حسية, if we say the ayn is منهي عنه, لا يؤدي ذلك إلى نحي العاجز, that would not necessitate making somebody helpless. If you say, for example, don't kill, لا تقتلوا. Yes? لا يغتب بعضكم بعضا. So it's what? فعل حسي. And if you say the actual killing is ممنوع, that's fine. because you can do it hissan. Yes? As opposed to أفعال الشرعية. لأنه بهذا الوصف لا يعجز العبد عن الفعل الحسي. Because of this wasf, this quality, the abd does not become helpless from the فعل الحسي. Are you following? Yes? If you say, oh, the actual manhi anhu is not mashru', he can still do it. If you say, murder is never mashru' in Sharia, correct? Murder is never mashru' in Sharia, but you can still go and do it. So I'm not doing nahi and af'al shara'. You're not doing nahi and it's not muhal for him. So murder is impermissible, correct? When murder is impermissible, when the Sharia says it's not mashru', you still within your imkan to go and do it. Are you following? For him? Ji. ويتفرع من هذا. Based on this, ويتفرع من هذا, based on the rule of أفعال الشرعية becoming مشروع, we say البيع الفاسد والإجارة الفاسدة والنذر بصوم يوم النحر وجميع سورة الأفعال الشرعية مأمور النهي عنها. So من هذا حكم all of this, حكم البيع إجارة نذر عن جميع. That is بيع الفاسد. Is that منهي عنه? منهي عنه. إجارة فاسدة منهي عنه. نذر of صوم يوم النحر. On all تصرفات الشرعية. The way the Sharia determines. What counts as a bayt? The Sharia determines as a bayt or not. What's mal? Sharia determines what's mal or not. Ijara, nazar. All of these are af'alush shari'iyah. So basically all of these will happen what? Because they're manhi anhu, that means that what? Mashru'un bi'aslihi, manhiyun li ghayrihi. So in here, the fasid aspect is manhi anhu. The fasid aspect of the ijara is manhi anhu. Ila akhirihi. You got it? Fahim? Ji. Okay. فقلنا, so based on that we will say البيع الفاسد يفيد الملك. The بيع الفاسد يفيد الملك. It will give you ownership. Because if it doesn't give you ownership, that means it's nahi. It's not nahi, it's nafyun. So if it's a bayt fasid, so you say, well, it's a bayt. The Sharia says it's a bayt. And don't do this. That means that you can't do this bayt. That's a taklif. That's become mukallaf of not doing this bayt. So if you do this bayt, what will happen? In the qabdi, what will happen? When you do qabd of it, you will have milk. باعتبار أنه بيع ويجب نقضه باعتبار كونه حرام لغيره. So it's a تصرف شرعية. Because it is a تصرف شرعية, becomes مشروع بأصله. So what's the ثمرة of this? The milk becomes tam. However, what becomes ويجب نقضه باعتبار كونه حرام لغيره. But you have to nullify this bayt and do it again properly. Do you understand? Yes? For him? Does everybody understand this so far? So when you have a nahy of al-shari'iyah, you will have tarattub upon this. Things will come into place. The ahkam will follow. It would have been null and void totally. But you are mukallaf of not doing this. So you have to basically do first of it and then do it again. Correct way. That's a shari'ah's taklif. Now there's a question here. What's the question? وَهَذَا بِخِلَافِ نِكَاحِ الْمُشْرِكَاتِ. Okay? The Sharia says لا تنكحوا المشركات. No? Similarly, حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم وأخواتكم. Yes? So you can't marry a mushrika. You can't marry your father's, not your mom, but your father's second other wife from before or after at the same time. ومعتدة الغير. A woman is in iddah. You can't marry her. ومنكوحته. Or somebody else's wife you can't marry. She can't marry two men at the same time. وَنِكَاهِ الْمَحَارِمِ. You can't marry the mahram. You can't marry nikah بِغَيْرِ شُهُود. Fahim? So we're saying here, that the question is, that why do you not say that is nikah fa'al shari or fa'al hissi? Fa'al shari, the sharia determines what's nikah. So therefore, what's supposed to happen? It's supposed to be mashru'. Fahim? So we say not mashru'. The nahi in here is nafi. Fahim? So it's saying, do not. When you get married to these, the nikah won't count. La nikaha ma'al mushrikat. And that nikah is null, it doesn't count. It's nothing. And anything after is a zina. We're not saying it counts. Why is this? So why we say it's different? It's a fa'al shari. But here is not nahyun, what is it? Nafyun. Yes? So there is no nikah of a mushrikat. If you do nikah, it's nothing, it doesn't count. Is this, those transactions, is this null and void? And the action after is all zina. Why are we not saying it's mashru'? Because this is the reason. لأن موجب النكاح حل التصرف. Because when the nikah, the purpose of what happens with nikah, afterwards what happens? You're allowed to have intercourse. فهمت? وموجب النهي حرمة التصرف. And in here, when they don't get married to these people, what does that mean? You're not allowed to cohabit with them. So be able to carry out the mu'amalat of nikah, which is one of them is this. So you can't do what? So nahi, in the nahi is what? If you look at bayt, you do a bayt fasid. The bayt is mashru' bi aslihi, but it's one fasid element. The price has not been stipulated, the time has not been stipulated, the mabit is a bit majhul, so all is bayt fasid. But the asal bayt is to allow tasarruf, and this one element is wrong. In here, the whole thing is, the whole asal is false. The whole asal is baseless. Because nikah is to allow tasarruf, and the nahi is to stop tasarruf. Are you following? Do you understand? So that's what we're saying here, that in these, because you can't, the nahi and is in the tasarrufat al-shari'ah, we say it's impermissible. We can say, well, there's two, you can separate the asal and the fasad. In here, the asal and the fasad are the same thing. The fasad is the asal tasarruf. That's the reason of the fasad. So you can't do jump between the two of these. That's why you would say what? That in these situations, when he said la tankihul mushrika, it doesn't mean you're allowed to do this, and when you get married and you're committing a sin, you say no. The nikah doesn't count at all. It says a nafyun, not a nahyun. فَيُحْمَلُ النَّحْيُ عَلَى النَّفْيِ. We say that la tankihul mushrika means ay la nikah ma'al mushrikat. The nikah is not valid with the mushrikat. Full stop. Nikah is not valid with your father's wife, or somebody else's wife, or your mahram, your mother, your sister, your aunt, etc. If you can't do nikah with them. And what's the taklif in here? Then don't cohabit with them. That's the manhi anhu. And the nikah is just null and void. It doesn't exist at all. We continue from here tomorrow, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So we discussed yesterday a question posed on our asal. The asal was النهي عن أفعال الشرعية يقتضي مشروعيتها. If it's a فعل الشرعي, that فعل الشرعي being مشروع necessitates that what? It should be مشروع. And then we had the ishkal. The ishkal was that in nikah, you're saying nikah is what? A فعل الشرعي. Yet if a person does nikah in the muharramat, حرم عليكم أمهاتكم بناتكم وخالاتكم, all of those, the nikah doesn't count at all. So the principle of a fa'lu shari'i being manhi anhu makes it thabit aslan. That doesn't fit. So the answer to that was given yesterday. And here's it explained in a bit more detail. So we said that principle applies fine. But if there are loggerheads, they contradict each other, then you can't do that. Look at nikah. So you have to look at the maqsid. What's the maqsood of nikah? When a person does nikah, the maqsood is hillu tasarruf. When you do nikah, what happens via nikah? What's the benefit of, what benefit do you have of nikah which you do not have before nikah in a law perspective? Hillu tasarruf. The male, his fayda is, he is able to do tasarruf. And the female's fayda, she gets her nafaqah, etc. That's not in akhlaq, manners and real life, but it's in law. Yes? Hillu tasarruf. But if you look at nahi, don't marry these people, what does that necessitate? That you can't do tasarruf, you're not able to have intercourse with these women. So the fa'lu shari'i is mujab, and the nahi is mujab, are contradictory. Fahimd? So there's tadad between the mujab of the amr, of the mashru'iyya, and the tadad in the mujab of the nahi. So therefore we can't say, so this fa'lu shari'i can't have its mashru'iyya. So therefore we say it's not a nahi on af'al shari'i, it's a nafi. That this does not happen. Are you following? It's like, so basically we're saying, it's like going around the tawaf 3 times is not a tawaf. We're not saying don't do it, we say it's not a tawaf. As opposed to saying, do not do tawaf, for example, if you say, doing this is not an umrah. That's a nafi, this is not an umrah. That is not an umrah. If you go around about 4 times in ihram, This is not a tawaf. It's not an umrah. As opposed to saying, do not do umrah on the day of Arafah. That's a nahi. So what we're saying here is that in here we're saying the Sharia is saying nikah with these women does not count. So la tankihu is a nahi in sigha, but it's a nafi in ma'na. That nikah of these women is not valid. And this is different to which situation? The situation of bayt. What happens in bayt? In bayt, what's the mujib of bayt? When you do bayt, what's the faida of bayt you not have before? You have ownership. That's the faida of the faint faida of bayt. And when you have a tasarruf, the tasarrufatul fasida, having a fasid element to the bayt, what's that causing? That's causing hurmatul tasarruf. So here thubutul milk and hurmatul tasarruf are not at loggerheads, they're not opposite, they're not mutadad. So you can have thubutul milk, you have the ownership, but yet you're still not able to tasarruf. So therefore, you can have a bay'ul fasid, ijara fasida, and they become thabit, but you can't do tasarruf, as opposed to nikah. So this is the way he's answered the question. And the text is as follows. What's the text? فَأَمَّا مُوجَبُ الْبَيْءِ is what? ثُبُوتُ الْمِلْك وَمُوجَبُ النَّهْيِ وَالتَّصَرُّفِ. And this can come جمع. فيمكن وقد أمكن الجمع بينهما بأن يثبت الملك ويحرم التصرف. Do you understand? Achha. And he gives example. Is it possible? So what's the dalil? That this is what? A dalil على أن الملك لا ينافي حرمة التصرف. What is this? أليس أنه لو تخمر الأصير في ملك المسلم يبقى ملكه فيها. If asir, you have juice and you leave it unattended, and what happens? It ferments. Yes? You have some juice and it ferments. Is it remaining your milk? Are you the owner of that property? يبقى ملكه فيها. The Muslim's ownership remains in a property. Can he consume it? Now because now, what's alcohol? What does it become? It's now najis. You can't do tasarruf in this. This is a dalil that you can have hurm, you can have milk and without tasarruf. And that establishes the fact why you can have the thubut of the fa'lu tasarruf, fa'lu hissi of bayt, but along with still not having tasarruf. Do you understand? Is that clear to everybody? Okay, moving on. وعلى هذا قال أصحابنا إذا نذر بصوم يوم النحر أيام التشريق. Is it text? That same text? Yeah, وأيام التشريق. So إذا نذر بصوم يوم النحر. It's a mistake. If a person does nadhar of fasting on the day of Nahar, yes, or أيام التشريق, fasting in those days is impermissible, correct? However, if he does this, what will happen? It's permissible. It's not permissible, it's correct. Permissible is not the right word. It's correct. Why? Because النهي عن أفعال الشرعية يقتضي مشروعيتها. فهمت؟ अच्छा. لأنه نذر بصوم مشروع. Because this is نهي لغيره. And the sawm itself is mashru'. Why? Because the only way you can have nahi is if it was mashru' itself. وكذلك لو نظر بالصلاة في الأوقات المكروهة يصح. Not yandubu, not recommended, not is good. It's just saying it's a sahih. From a fiqh perspective, it's sahih, not recommended. It's not, you shouldn't perform salah in awqat makruha, but it's sahih. So if you do nazar of performing salah in the awqatul makruha, yasihhu, what happens? This is going to be correct. لأنه نذر بعبادة مشروعة. Because he took an oath or a vow of an ibadah. What? مشروعة. لما ذكرنا أن النهي يوجب بقاء التصرف مشروعة. Because النهي necessitates that a tasarruf remains مشروع. Yes, it's the same principle. فهم? Similarly, ولهذا قلنا لو شرع في النقل. Not naqli, what is it supposed to be? What's in your text? Nafli, isn't it? ولو شرع في النفل في هذه الأوقات لزمه بالشروع. It is makruh to perform nafil salah in the awqat al-makruha. In the tulu'i shams, in the zawalish, in the istiwa'i shams, and in the ghurubi shams. At these three times, it is makruh to perform salah. Fahimt? Yes? Acha. But if he starts it, what does the Ahnaf say? Our masla is that if you start in Nafil Salah, you must complete that Nafil Salah. Correct? Fahim? Now, and by doing that, you're doing a haram. But وَإِرْتِقَابُ الْحَرَامِ لَيْسَ بِلَازِمٍ لِلُزُومِ الْإِتْمَامِ. Now the question raises that if you say, if he starts in Nafil Salah, he has to do what? Complete it. That's what we say, don't we? Are you following? But then this was a question that now you are commanding him to do a haram. Aren't you? Okay, if you start it, so in the other situation, what we say in the nazar of fasting on the day of Eid, don't do another day, do another day. For him. But if he starts at Nafil Salah and the sun is rising, what happens then? What do we say? Break it or complete it? Complete it. So what are we commanding him to do? Do a haram. We say no. لَيْسَ بِلَازِمٍ وَارْتِقَابُ الْحَرَامِ. We are not making incumbent upon him doing a haram by completion. Why? There's a way out. Are you following? فَإِنَّهُ لَوْ صَبَرَ. If he was to wait حَتَّى حَلَّتِ الشَّمْسِ بِارْتِفَاعِ الشَّمْسِ وَغُرُوبِهَا وَدُلُوكِهَا أَمْكَنَهُ إِتْمَامٌ بِدُونِ الْكَرَاهَةِ. So he says here, وَلَوْ صَبَرَ, meaning what? He says مَكَثَ بَعْدَ الشُّرُوقِ. Meaning he starts it, what does he do? He continues salah. Until what? Until salah becomes halal. بِارْتِفَاعِ الشَّمْسِ. So when is salah makruh? In the tulu' shams until it rises, that's the shuluq time. So if he continues praying it until then, or he's performing it at the end of asr before ghurub, so he waits till it becomes ghurub, or he waits till the duluk means zawal. So the sun is at istiwa, then he does the duluk. Amkanuhu itmamun bidun al-karaha. How can he complete it without karaha? Meaning the last part of it is not makruh. Are you following? So if it's a continuous salah until that point, it will be what? Starts the salah. Now we say complete it. So just complete it until the time becomes what? Halal. So what he's saying is that the last part of it, if he continues the salah, then the last part of the salah becomes what? In halal time. You can have ishkal in that one, but you get what he's saying. What? Irtikab, carrying out. Irtikabul ma'asi, rakiba is to ride. So irtikab is to commit. Committing a haram. Irtikab means to commit. You following? And then he says here, وَبِهِ فَارَقَ صَوْمَ يَوْمِ الْعِيدِ. Eid is different. What happens on Eid day? فَإِنَّهُ لَوْ شَاءَ. If you start fasting on Eid, what do we say? No itmam. Because this is a dharf, and this is a... We did dharf ma'iyar before, didn't we? Yeah, we did dharf ma'iyar before. This is a dharf and this is a ma'iyar. The ibadah takes place in here, in one particular time, and it takes place the entire time. Yes? فَإِنَّهُ لَوْ شَرَعَ فِيهِ. If he starts the fasting, لا يلزمه عند أبي حنيفة ومحمد. They say don't complete it. Why? Because itmam cannot separate from the haram. Because the fasting, you cannot complete that fast without doing a haram. And if you start your nafil, you can complete it without doing a haram. How? By extending and making it go into what time? Halal time. Do you understand? Okay, and example number 4. We'll continue on Monday, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. So now we're moving on to the 4th example. We say, وَمِنْ هَذَا النَّوْءِ وَطْءُ الْهَائِضِ. That from this section, this categorization, we have وَطْءُ الْهَائِضِ. So what's the ruling? Having intercourse with a woman in haid is impermissible. But what's our rule? النَّحْيُ وَنَفْعَالِ الشَّرْعِيَّةِ يَقْتَضِي مَشْرُوعِيَّتَهَا. That if it says it's impermissible, the Sharia says impermissible, that means that if you do this, the ahkam become muratab upon this. So, فَإِنَّ النَّحْيَ أَنْ قُرْبَانِهَا بِاعْتِبَارِ الْأَذَى لِقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ قُلْ هُوَ أَذًى فَاعْتَزِلُوا النِّسَاءَ فِي الْمَحِيضِ وَلَا تَقْرَبُوهُنَّ حَتَّى يَطْهُرْنَ. So the nahi of the prohibition of having intercourse with women in the hayd is because of the adha, the impurities of the blood of hayd. Because of this, intercourse is impermissible. So, what do we say? Because it is impermissible, that means that if you were to carry it out, it would have implications. What would that mean? إحصان الواتي فيثبت به إحصان الواتي. That for a person, if a person, this is the only time he had intercourse in his life, What does this mean? A person, muhsan, who's a muhsan? A person who's married and consummated the marriage amongst other conditions. So because of this, what will happen? This intercourse will make him muhsan or her muhsan. Similarly, if a person were to have divorced his wife 3 times, it was a ruling, حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجٌ غَيْرَهُ. And what do you say? What's the condition in there? That after you get married, you also have to have consummation of the marriage. So this intercourse in hayd would make her permissible for the first husband again. فهمت? وَيَثْبُتُ بِهِ حُكْمُ الْمَهْرِ. If they were to get married, they had intercourse during the hayd, then she was entitled to her mahr. She'll have to do iddah. She'll have to nafaqah. So even though having intercourse with a woman is in hayd is impermissible, all the rulings and the thamarat, all the will have consequences. All the ahkam become thabit by this. Why? النهي عن الأفعال الشرعية يقتضي مشروعيتها. Now, ولو امتنعت عن التمكين لأجل الصداق. This part here, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm doing a show. What I think is, I look in the commentaries, they didn't comment on this one. So this is what I think it means. If a woman were to imtana'at, to desist from giving the husband control over her, meaning does not allow the husband to have intercourse with her. And I think ajay sadaq means because of her demands for sadaq, I want to have my mahar in advance. Yes? So I'm not sure about this part of the masla. I looked at it, I couldn't figure out. So I'd let be honest so that and the person can look for it themselves. So it says here, if a woman desists or does not allow the husband to have intercourse with her, كانت ناشزة عندهما. She will be considered nashiza. What's a nashiza? A woman who is disobedient to her husband. If she's disobedient to her husband, then she's not entitled to her housing or her nafaqah. Fahimd? I'm not sure about housing, but her nafaqah. Housing is probably still there, but her nafaqah is not entitled to nafaqah, her expenditure. Okay? Why? So meaning, fahimd? Yes, but 100%, this is what the translation is. The 100%, 100% what it means here, the shara, they're not, the shara that shuru that I looked into, they didn't explain it clearly. Maybe something missing in other books. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to look in more detail, but this one is a bit, what's the translation? 100% of the meaning, I'm not sure. Okay, وَحُرْمَةُ الْفَعْلِ لَا تُنَافِي تَرَتُّبَ الْأَحْكَامِ. So the hurma of the fa'l, لا تنافي ترتب الأحكام. Again, it's kind of repeating what we said before. That the fa'l being haram does not negate ahkam being murattab upon this. Meaning if it's haram, the fa'l is haram. What happens? You still have the rulings will follow. Yes? And he give an example here. كَتَلَاقِ الْحَائِذ. If to give a woman talaq in haid, talaq bid'ah, it's impermissible, it's wrong, it's sinful. But if you do so, talaq will count. وَالْوُضُوءِ بِالْمِيَاهِ الْمَغْصُوبَةِ. You stole somebody's water and you didn't wudu with this. It's a haram, you stole the water. But is the wudu counted? Wudu is counted, that's different. وَالْإِسْتِيَادِ بِقَوْسٍ مَغْصُوبَةٍ. You stole somebody's arrow, you stole somebody's bow, and then you hunted an animal. There's 2 different things. One is the hunting and one is the stealing. So the stealing or the snuffing away of somebody's item without permission, that's impermissible, you get sin for that. But if you hunted the animal and said Bismillah, then animal becomes halal. وَالذَّبْحِ بِسِكِّينٍ مَغْصُوبَةٍ. You took somebody's knife without the permission and then you slaughtered an animal with this. So that's impermissible, you are going to be sinful, but the dhabh is halal, that makes the animal halal. وَالصَّلَاةُ فِي الْأَرْضِ الْمَغْصُوبَةِ. 2 separate issues. One is you take somebody's land away, impermissible. You grasp somebody's land. It's impermissible, it's haram, you're sinful. The Prophet ﷺ says, whoever takes somebody's land, they will sink into the earth right until the neck on Day of Qiyamah. This is the punishment. So people say, oh, not to the atheists, they say, you will get nightmares the rest of your life. It's not nightmares the rest of your life. It doesn't stop at nightmares. And people say that, how your conscience will not allow you to do this, sleep at night time. It's not only about sleeping at night time. Yes, it's also, we believe in the hereafter. And that's when Allah will punish you for your stealing somebody's land or doing something impermissible or shedding blood. So anyways, وَالصَّلَاةُ فِي الْأَرْضِ الْمَغْصُوبَةِ. So if you were to snatch somebody's land away, that sin is on its own. But if you were to perform salah in that maghsuba land, the salah is valid because they're 2 separate issues. Yes? Okay? And the last masala we have here is وَالْبَيْءُ فِي وَقْتِ النِّدَاءِ. We mentioned before that at the time of adhan, إِذَا نُودِيَ لِصَلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمُعَةِ فَاسْأَوْا إِلَىٰ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْءَ. So the hukam is ذَرُوا الْبَيْء. Leave. As soon as adhan goes, leave bayt. So you have to leave bayt. You're not allowed to do transaction after the prayer for Jumu'ah goes, call for Jumu'ah goes. However, if you were to do this, we say the bayt is sahih. So the bayt is sahih, the bayt being sahih, and the bayt being complete and sahih does not necessitate that it is ethically correct. So you will get the sin for doing bayt at time of adhan or time of Jumu'ah salah, but the transaction will be sahih, meaning it will be valid, and all the ahkam will become muratab upon this. فإنه يترتب الحكم على هذه التصرفات مجتمعها على الحرمة. So despite all of these things having a hurma effect, the hurma is something which is an external factor. So it will say whether haram is there, the sin remains there, but the ruling will all take place in all of these things. And he gives an example. وباعتبار هذا الأصل قلنا في قوله تعالى لا تقبلوا لهم شهادة أبدا. We have another example, this Quranic verse. What's the call for the Quranic verse? وَالَّذِينَ يَرْمُونَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ. You know, in Islam, the zina is very severe. The sins of the tongue are very severe. Person commits zina, in Islam, Allah said they're married, then there's rajam. And if they are not married, then they get whipped. Because the family unit is very, very sacred. When you violate this, see, we live in a society where it's common. So it's like, okay, people do it all the time, it's not a problem. We say, no. That doesn't make it permissible. The family structure is very, very sacred. And to violate that, you'll be whipped for violating this. But at the same time, if somebody were to bring forth an accusation against a male or female who are innocent, and you can't prove this, same time what will happen? You'll also be entitled to very severe punishment. You understand? It's not just that you just grab anybody who you want, make an accusation, and they get whipped. It doesn't work like that. So it says, if anybody makes an accusation against muhsanat, against whom? Muhsanat. Yes? Al-muhsanat, meaning a woman who is chaste. She's not, chaste is not the right word, who has not committed this sin. Meaning she's muhsanat. She's a muhsan. And we've done the rule of muhsan in Quduri. Then, what's the ruling? If you say that she committed zina, you have to bring 4 witnesses. And these 4 witnesses must all testify that they've seen her committing adultery, the male and the female. Just as you see a pen in its cover, meaning after you see you witness penetration. Not just see them naked together. If you say, I've saw them naked together, that's a separate punishment. A man and woman who are not married, they're naked together in bed, a separate punishment. You have to actually witness the penetration. Then you can have the zina. For him. So if you see this, فَجْلِدُوهُمْ ثَمَانِينَ جَلْدَةً. Then what do you do? You whip them 80 whips. Then the next part here is وَلَا تَقْبَلُوا لَهُمُ الشَّهَادَةً أَبَدًا. So we say, do not accept. This is a nahi. This is a muhkam. So do not accept testimony from them ever. Fahim? وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Correct? So we sing here this nahi. So what's our rule? النهي عن الأفعال الشرعية يقتضي مشروعيتها. Which means that if these people, there's 2 types of, when you have shahada, there are 2 types of shahada. One is ada'u shahada, one is tahammulu shahada. What is tahammul shahada? They bear testimony to something. So they are able to bear testimony to something. And the second one is ada'u shahada. The second one? Ada'u shahada. They fulfill testimony. So what we're saying here, that the Sharia says, do not, the ada'u shahada, opposite, ada means qabulan. They will give shahada and you have to accept the shahada. These go hand in hand. So we say the manhi anhu is, do not accept the shahada. If they come to give shahada, do not give it. What does that mean? That if they were to testify to something, not testify, if they were to witness something, is that witnessing sahih? Say, well, the witnessing is sahih, but you won't be accepted in court. Are you following? So what's the ayah saying? That if they were to come forth in the court with a shahada, what do we say? Don't accept it. But for us to be told by the Sharia, do not accept their shahada, that means that they have a shahada in the first place. Yes? If I say, for example, do not accept the transaction, do not buy this land of this person. It doesn't belong to him. Says, well, how can you buy it in the first place? It doesn't belong to him. He doesn't have the item. You following? But if he has the item, don't buy it off him. That makes sense. So he has shahada, but you can't take it from him. Do you understand? Qala taqbalu means that they have shahada, but you can't accept it from them. Ever. Yes? You understand what we're saying in this verse? So there's a nahi, but the nahi is telling us do not take shahada from them. That means that they have the shahada. If they do a shahada, it will count, but the qazi won't take it. Are you following? Does that make sense? So, إِنَّ الْفَاسِقَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الشَّهَادَةِ. What do you have here? Something missing here. What's your text? إِنَّ الْفَاسِقَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الشَّهَادَةِ. Yes? Huh? Yeah. So, إِنَّ الْفَاسِقَ, a person who is a transgressor, he's from أهل الشهادة. But what's the ممنوع منهي عنه؟ قبول شهادتهم. فينعقد النكاح بشهادة الفساق. If you have a fasiq and this fasiq bears witness to a nikah, the nikah is counted. Why? Because in nikah you have to have what? You have to have ijab, qabul and shahada. Fahimd? So what do we say? But when the nikah is taking place, there's no need for ada'u shahada. What is there need for? Tahammul of shahada. Just testify to it. Fahimd? And the Sharia does not say they can't. And the Sharia actually says, do not accept the shahada means that they can become shahid, but it's not accepted the shahada. لأن النهي عن قبول الشهادة. In the previous verse when the Sharia said, do not accept their shahada, for them without them having shahada, بدون shahada muhal. It is impossible to say, do not accept their shahada, do not have shahada. So when the Sharia says, do not accept their shahada, that means that what? They are ahlu shahada. And in nikah, there's no ada'u shahada. There's no tahammul of shahada. That's why, how many times have you seen people call for, who's witness to your nikah? You don't even, there's no ada'u shahada in nikah. People they have to do tahammul of shahada. If, for example, a situation occurred with a doubt regarding nikah, then is the way the witness gone. Are you following? Then that which comes in as ada'u shahada in front of the qadi. Are you following? So you can't say, it's like for example, you have a crime outside. Everybody who's doing it in tahammul of shahada, they're witnessing it. Now from them you say, well, we're not going to accept your shahada because of circumstances. Do you understand? It making sense? وَإِنَّمَا لَمْ تُقْبَلْ شَهَادَتُمْ. When you do ada of it, what's going to happen? You say no qabul. Because why? You're not ahlul ada. Do you understand? لا لعدم الشهادة أصلا. We're not saying we don't accept the shahada because there is no shahada. We think the shahada is there, but the shahada cannot become mu'adda. You cannot give shahada and accept the shahada. Do you understand? That's why وَعَلَى هَذَا لَا يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِمُ اللِّعَانِ. If a person was a fasiq, yes, and then what they have to do li'an. What's li'an? When the husband claims that his wife or the wife claims that the husband does what? They've done zina and there's no witness. Now obviously, if four strangers witness zina, they can just ignore it. Say, look, or they say two people witness zina, but they haven't got witnesses. They can say this, I'm just keeping my mouth shut because I haven't got witnesses. I'm just going to stay quiet. None of my business. I'm not getting in trouble and become mahdud fi qadhaf and get in trouble. But if it's a husband and wife, it's only him alone, she's alone, and she's done witness zina, she can't live with that person anymore. He can't live with that person anymore. Do you understand? So then he says, they do li'an. Fahimd? And in li'an, his husband and wife is one person. They say that she done zina now. The whole procedure done already in quduri. So now he's saying here, there's no li'an upon a fasiq. Why? Because what do you have to do in li'an? Ada'u shahada. And they're not qabil of ada'u shahada. لأن ذلك, because li'an is ada'u shahada. ولا أداء مع الفاسق أو مع الفسق. Is the fasiq or fisq in yours? لا أداء مع فسق. The alif is wrong. There's no لا أداء مع الفسق. Do you understand? Is that clear? So if you look at it here, so our summary, you have a manhi anhu. The Sharia says something is manhi anhu. Then we have fa'lun hissi or fa'lun shari'i. And if fa'lun hissi, we say is laysa bi mashru'in. It's not mashru' at all. Laysa bi mashru'in. Its wujud does not exist upon the Sharia. It does not exist. It's not there. It's not found. Because qabihun li nafsihi. In itself is what? Qabih, evil, wrong, and invalid. And if you've got a fa'lun shari'i, and what's a fa'lun shari'i? Something whose wujud depends upon the Sharia says is mawjud. So we say this is what? Mashru'un bi aslihi qabihun li ghayrihi. It can be mashru' because the Sharia has allowed it, but because of some external factors it becomes qabih. Fahim? And then we have all the, and then we say here, in another rule for this one is what? النحي عن أفعال الشرعية يقتضي مشروعيتها. So if something is impermissible in the Sharia, that automatically means that, what does that mean? That means that if you do this action, it's haram, but it will have its thamarat. It will have its consequences and things will take place. This is a fa'lu shari'i, a fa'lu hissi, it's haram, but if you do it, will happen? it will take place. For example, stealing is haram. If you do this, the repercussions will fall into place. Having intercourse in hayd is impermissible, but if you do it, fall into place. The rulings fall into place. So in both of these, we say by doing this, what will happen? The ahkam will fall into place. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.